Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining Portbear on the show tonight, we've got Rudy, the colouring king, the Gordon Ramsay Rangers Radio, and Bridgeman. How you doing, lad?
All right, Portbear. All right, Bridgeman.
Well, can I just say a huge good evening to you two guys? Massive good evening to the guys in the lobby, to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio, and we're through to the last. Well, we're going through to the group stages in the Europa League. Brilliant. Well done, Rangers.
We may as well get this out of the road first, Rudy.
Aye.
Just to put Bridgeman out his misery. What'd you have for your tea tonight, mate?
Oh, there's a big pile of macaroni cheese with a nice wee side salad and some garlic bread. I'm stuffed. I might fall asleep at some point, Port, but I'll try and stay with you, mate. I'll try and stay with you.
Rudy Bear, I hate you.
I know, Bridge. I know.
Well, what we'll do is we'll have right away. We'll have view from a bridge. After that, we'll discuss the game a wee bit further. We've not heard what you've had to say, Rudy, and okay. I've not really had a wee opinion on it yet. Okay. And we'll take it from there, mate. Eh?
Okay, fire away.
So let's have a view from a bridge.
Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to A View from the Bridge. On the game last night, Alashkert versus Rangers, 26th of August 2021, Europa League qualification match. Our team played in a roasting hot stadium where there was a 30-plus degree heat and succeeded in getting through to the groups. We overcame a COVID outbreak within our club, stifling heat, and an Alashkert team trying to stop us clinching a Europa League group stage. For the fourth consecutive season, what a record our team and team management have. Marvellous. Well done, guys. Manager Steven Gerrard, as well as several players, didn't travel to Yerevan. We could easily have feared an uncomfortable evening altogether. But despite failing to add to the first 1-0 leg against them, well, a nice wee cushion there, a goalless draw ensured safe passes against Alashkert, who were reduced to 10 men for more than half of the last night's game. Tavernier, McGregor, McLaughlin, Balogun, Wright and Kent were absentees, so we were definitely not at full strength. We looked in poor form for most of the game, quite pedestrian and more like a pre-season friendly. No tempo in our game, just ponderous movements most of the time. Overall, a really poor performance from us. I know it was not the greatest game of football to watch, but we weren't defeated last night. It was a job done for the team. We missed some glorious chances, one-on-ones with the keeper, hit the woodwork a few times and dominated Alashkert for most of the game. Alashkert got some minutes of pressure, especially in the second half, where they penetrated our midfield and defence. Our young keeper, McCrory, played well and handled everything that came his way. Well done. Our outfield players were obviously suffering in the heat. That kind of heat can impact a player's concentration. It was good to see Barisic getting 90 minutes in, and well, that will do him good. That's it. Full time was a 0-0 draw. Alashkert 0, Rangers 0. Player by player. McCrory got 6, Patterson 5, Goldson 5, Helander 6, Barisic 5, Arfield 5, Davis 5, Kamara 6, Hadji 4, Morelos 4, Aribo 6. And I gave my man of the match to Aribo, closely followed by Helander and McCrory, who I thought were quite good games considering, because of the pace of the game and so on and so forth. The match stats, the possession was 41 for Alashkert and 59 for Rangers. Total shots, 6 for Alashkert, 20 for Rangers. Shots on target, 1 for Alashkert, 7 for Rangers. Corners, 0 for Alashkert, 8 for Rangers. Total saves, 6 for Alashkert, 1 for Rangers. Yellow cards, 2 each. Red cards, 1 for Alashkert, none for Rangers. And this is the end of the view from the bridge.
Thanks very much for that, Bridge. Very well put again, as always, mate. Just to pick up on a few things you says. One of the first things you says, and you have to agree with me here, guys. The most important thing is we qualified for the Europa League 4 years in a row. We've done enough.
That in itself, Port's brilliant. If you look at where we were before Steven Gerrard came in and who we went out to, and the abysmal performance then compared to, qualifying for the group stages of the Europa League 4 years in a row. That's a really good record in itself, and we've sort of improved. Hopefully we improve again this European campaign. First time we were happy just to get into the groups. That was good enough. Last 2 seasons, it's been the last 16. It's just been a stretch a wee bit too far for us last 2 seasons, but if they can get their act together, I believe that we can get out of this group. The draw was made today, obviously, Port. I believe we can get out of this group. I think it's absolutely doable, and hopefully see a wee bit more progression as far as going further in the tournament goes.
I agree, mate. Brisbane, what do you think about the 4 years in a row, mate?
I think the 4 years in a row is just fabulous for us. What wonderful competition for our club. There's a certain amount of cash guaranteed for the club. And obviously, the more wins you get, the more money it goes on, and so on and so forth. So if we can even equal the positions that we've had over the last 3 years, then we might even get through and through into the last 6. I think is it the last 16 or the last 16? Yeah, the last 16. So if we can get out of the groups, that'll be to me that'll be just utterly fabulous. Seriously, because that then gives us that extra bit of cash for the club. Because the clubs seem to be needing some extra cash, so let's hope that we can do well both for our team, our fans, and the club. That's what I want. But yes, I'm very, very pleased. That's what it was about. Get us through. I said it all the way along. Just don't let them score, and we're through.
I'm going to ask you something, guys. Is this possibly been the hardest qualifying stages we've had since Gerrard's took over? You think of some of the teams we played in previous qualifiers. Has this been the toughest qualifying we've done under Gerrard?
For me, it has Port, because, and I think you can see that by the results in that. And don't get me wrong, I couldn't see by any stretch of the imagination that we started off well this season domestically. Really, the performances haven't been great. But I mean, Malmo beat Ludogorets. They're into the Champions League, aren't they? So it's possibly, as far as what we've had today, as far as qualifiers have went. I think the Alashkert thing last night and, last week as well, obviously, I would have expected us to beat them both home and away, though, Mark, to be honest. But I wasn't, as far as the second leg goes, I wasn't really taking into consideration, temperature, humidity, travelling at the time when we were drawn against them. I wasn't really thinking that, I didn't know about the COVID thing and all that, obviously, which had quite a major effect on us. If you look at the bench last night, it's full of young guys, B-team players, So, yeah, I think you're probably right, Mark. I think we've had it easier in qualifiers, times we've gone to like Cyprus and that kind of thing, last season and that. So I think you're right. I think we've had it easier in the past. And I think the way things happened this season as well contributed to making it harder for us. These were things that we never had to deal with in previous seasons in the qualifiers. So, yeah, I think I probably have to agree with you.
Yeah, Bridgman?
I would suggest that I would go 50-50 on that, simply because remember that the only qualification we had to go through before last night and before Alashkert was the Champions League qualification, and we failed badly in both of those games. Don't get me wrong, we didn't do it. We didn't do it what we were supposed to do. We got they tanned us twice just after half time in both games, and that proved poor to me. But that's at higher level, much higher level than Europa League, may I say. So I said when we get put out, that proved to me that quality-wise, we're probably a Europa League team stretching. But we should still have beat Malmo. In my opinion, we should still have beat them. They just weren't good enough on the night, and that's my honest opinion. Last night, we should have murdered that team in the night, and last week, we should have murdered that team without a shadow of a doubt. But for some reason or other, we take my foot off the ball, and away we go.
I agree, mate. I heard you again, Robbie McCrory. Special mention as well, I must say, for his debut match in a European tie. I thought the boy looked confident when he came bravely for the ball and get that kick in the head. I thought, oh, here we go, that's us going to have no keepers for the weekend. But he was brave, put his body in where it hurts, and I was happy to see that. So that's him. He got a clean sheet as well, and that's him matched the same ratio as his brother, because obviously we know his brother got a clean sheet as well, didn't he? So his brother's not got that on him anymore.
I thought he done really well, Port, last night. He did everything that was asked of him, and I think that, as you say, he got the kick in the head, didn't he? He knew exactly, is it Dos Santos? Aye, he knew what he was doing there. He left his foot in there. Mark, you've played football, you know what he was doing there.
I do.
Yeah, he was giving him a wee jab in the boot just to say, look, I'm here, son, But he did everything that was asked of him. And Alan McGregor speaks very highly of young McCrory. He has done several times in the past, I see no reason at all when McGregor comes, and John McLaughlin as well, obviously, when it comes for these guys to hang up their gloves. I see no reason at all why the young man can't be going and become the Rangers' #1 goalkeeper.
I agree. Bridgeman, what was your overall thoughts on young McCrory last night?
I thought he did very well. Two saves. Maybe one of them was a mistake where it bounced off our own player and he managed to pick it up. But the guy got a really good shot in, by the way, and he covered it no problem at all. So it's, for me, he did everything right. Obviously, his distribution actually was quite good considering. But when you're kicking the ball way up the pitch on a night like that, it's really difficult for the forwards to pick the ball up. But they did. It was quite close to the players, and it'll give them a wee chance. But we really need to be playing out for the back most of the time. So that'll come. His game will come, and the midfielders have all got to be there, along with the defenders, just to pick these balls up and let them play out. And I think he's going to be a smash. Looks like he's going to be a smashing goalkeeper for us. He's only, 22, 23 or something like that? Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I can't believe.
In goalkeeping terms, that's a baby, guys. It's really young guy.
Young for a goalie, Mark. Yeah.
I mean, I understand, guys, the heat, the conditions, but we were so off the boil in attacking sense, and the midfield looked disjointed. The chances, but with chances within 4 minutes, then it was looking good in the first, 4 minutes, and then with 7 minutes, Patterson makes a mistake, and obviously Hollander saves him on that, and then you get the chances that Buffalo had. The one he puts over the bar, the one Arfield puts him through in goal, and you think, right, look at the time, the keeper sits down in his bum. So, in my opinion, they should ground him and put it in the net. But for some reason,
see that opportunity, Mark. Right, when he gets that opportunity, you do one or two things is going to happen there. Right, you go round the goalkeeper, you take the ball away, you knock it into the back of the net because it's an empty goal. Right, or you take the ball round the goalkeeper, he sticks his arms or his legs out, he brings you down, you get a penalty. Either way, the ball's going to end up in the back of the net 9 times out of 10. I couldn't believe that Alfredo was so awful last night. He just hit the ball straight at him. The goalkeeper's there right in front of him. Why? Either side of the goalkeeper, the ball's going to get in the back of the net. He takes the ball round the goalkeeper, or he steps, a yard to the side, either side, and has a shot. The ball's going to get in the back of the net. It's completely empty. I couldn't believe that. Was the worst of the three for me, Mark, to be honest with you. But Alfredo,
really poor, wasn't it? Really
poor. Off it last night. He really was. He could have easily had a couple of goals last night if he'd had his shooting boots on.
3? He could have had 3.
He
was through 3 times. 3 1-on-1s.
I've always had the belief, guys. I don't think Alfie's a clinical finisher. I think he's a reactive finisher.
Aye.
I believe if that was Roof or Jermaine Defoe, he'd probably score the 3 of them, in my opinion. I think Roof's a far better finisher. He's more clinical, and I think Roof goes round the keeper there, in my opinion, and puts it in the poke.
Can you explain to me what you mean by a reactive finisher? Because that sounds like Port Glasgow speak to me.
What I mean is, when it's coming into the box at him quick for crosses, etc., Bridgeman, that's getting fired into him, for wide plays, etc., free kicks, I think he's more reactive in the box. I think when he's got time in his hands, when he's running like it was last night, bearing down in goal, when he's got too much time, I think his head's, will I put it past that side, will I put it past it, will I hit it hard, will I put it at the top of the net? I think he's got too much time in his hands. Whereas I think when it comes to instinct, that's when you see Alfredo at his very best. I really do.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
That's all I mean by that, mate.
If you think of last week, Mark, when his goal was scored last week, it seemed like he had the ball for an eternity before he decided to do something with it. Because I was up off the couch, I'm standing in front of the telly and I'm screaming at the telly, shoot, shoot. And you see and the defender's coming behind him, and the whole time I'm thinking, that defender's going to catch him, you know. But he didn't, luckily enough, he did put it away. But I was just, he's going to fluff this here. But luckily enough, he put it away. But he did fluff it last night. There isn't any getting away with it, get away from it. He had a really poor game last night. The chances that he got, you would have seriously expected Alfie to put a goal or two away there out of the chances he got. But I agree with you 100%. I think Defoe and Roofe are more clinical goal scorers than Alfie is, you know.
We even got to the second half when they went down to 10 men as well, guys. Do you know, I felt Alistair looked the more likely to score, and that really concerned me. I've got maybe a theory on why Rangers sort of played like in second gear last night. Was, you know, the job was they were seeing the game out. The job was done. They didn't want to pick up injuries, so that team really made very little attempt to, you know, win the game or even come out the rain half at times. So
the worry I had, sorry, Mark.
Sorry, was the team trying to, you know, conserve energy when they try to keep their energy levels and not get injuries? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, guys, to see what you think. See what your opinions would be.
The worry I had in that second half, Mark, right? I thought the second half performance, it was hard to tell who had the 10 men, whether it was us or them. I thought they played fairly well in that second half, and we just, whether it was the heat and humidity or maybe you're right, Mark, maybe they were thinking, look, we don't really need to get a second gear here, let's just manage the game, let's get, you know, as long as we don't lose the game, you know, as long as we don't let them score, we're all right. We're through to the group stages. But the worry I had as the second half went on, had they scored, and they had a couple of chances, they had a couple of good chances. Had they scored, would we have had what it took to come back and start after starting so slowly? Because you know yourself, Mark, see when you start a game slowly, it's really hard to pick the pace up again. So my worry was that had they scored in the second half, would we have had what it takes to get a goal and to win that tie? That was my worry. Had we went into extra time, 30 minutes, in that heat and humidity, having to, you know, expend energy for another 30 minutes, I'm not so sure that would have been great for us, Mark, to be perfectly honest with you. So that was the worry I had when I was watching the game last night.
Please, man.
I can't disagree with what Rudy Bear says there. But I just feel that in the second half, I agree with the phrase he used was they thought the game won. And I believe they did. I believe that's what they did. And then in the second half, they stepped back 2 yards. And that meant allowed Alistair to come up and create some space within our half. They created a bit of space. And they could see some of their through balls were getting there. But obviously the goalkeeper made a short shift to them, picked the ball up, no problem. So there was never any real danger other than that one shot that I could see. But I don't think we played very well, even when we went back. When there 10 men advanced, so there was a time in the game when all 10 of their outfield players, all 9 of their outfield players, should I say, were actually in our half. And that's no right. That should never have been like that. We stepped too far back, and they pushed and pressed. So they did a wee bit of high press on us, and that caused a bit of confusion within our ranks. And you see some of the boys bumping into each other and things like that. But these things happen anyway and again. But all I think is Rangers didn't concentrate for the whole time. Otherwise, they should have been stepping up into their half and pushing everything back that way. I think they thought we could defend this no problem. And maybe in their mind, they actually dreamed that they would have been able to do this no problem. And, you know, at the end of the game, they had done it.
Aye, they got the result, Bridge, man. You know, I think obviously our lack of real pace. We didn't have any pace in the team last night. I think that caused a problem. We allowed Alaskert to press us. There's a real lack of tempo over the two matches. I think the best half we played over the two matches was the second half at Ibrox, in my opinion. But we're through, like Bridgeman says, we're through. So that's all we can, be thankful for. But in the group stages, we're in a decent group, which we'll come to later on. So, we move on.
I mean, the ultimate target's to get into the group, Mark, isn't it? And they've done that last night. Yeah. So as much as you can be a wee bit, you can critique the performance, and you can be a wee bit critical of the team performance as a whole, and players, individual players as well. Because I thought Barisic was terrible last night. I really did. I hope Bassie's back for the weekend. But that aside, getting to the groups was the goal. That was the main goal, and they've done that. So you have to give them a wee bit of credit for that.
Yeah, 100%. Right, I think we've got the Gary Max interview. So let's hear from Gary McAllister, our assistant manager.
Gary, are you able to give us an injury update and anyone who's expected back for Sunday?
Well, the thing is that last night we're pleased to let you know that everybody came through unscathed. Scotty Arfield took a couple of blows on his big toe. Took one early in the game, and then he got smashed on it later in the game. But after the game, he's reported fine. So everybody came through unscathed last night, and obviously people coming back from suspension. Non-squad players will be coming into the reckoning as well. That didn't travel: Bakuna, Barker, and Katic. So we're bolstered. We'll get a wee bit more bodies in the squad.
And obviously, huge congratulations for the fourth consecutive Europa League group as well. Have you got any expectations for how far you expect to progress in the Europa League this season?
Well, we'll look to, first and foremost, we're all delighted that we're in that draw. I think it's a great achievement. I think it's driven, it's gave Scottish football a wee bit of kudos as well. My belief is that obviously the coefficient is really, really spiked. We're proud of that fact as well. So we're experienced. We've played against some good teams in this competition. And we need to use that. We need to use our experience because we've now become what I would say an established Europa League team. And getting into the group, we're now I believe we're in pot 2. So there's improvements there, and we just want to try and go a step further. But let's see what the draw is, and then we can make some views on how it could go.
Morning, Gary. Last night after the match, I thought you showed a wee bit of your ruthless side where, in response to some questions, you were saying, Europe's out the way, we've done that, doesn't matter how we've done it, we've got the result, we're into the group stages. Looking forward now to the Old Firm game, is that more or less your same attitude to the players as we haven't had the best start to the season, now's the time to restart and kick off from now?
We would like to see more rhythm. We'd like to see us, perform better. But we came here to do a job. What I would say is from the very onset of pre-season, the fact is we haven't been able to pick the same team 2 games in a row due to a lot of issues. But it's only issues that every club have got to adapt to. With players coming back from red zones, with players coming back late from the Euros, players from Copa America, with the players who did little niggly injuries, with the COVID issues. So we want to get some rhythm and we want to play a nice free-flowing style of football. But up until now, we've not been able to pick a team to get that rhythm. As we speak, it's growing, we're coming closer together, and that's the thing. No matter who's available for the game on Sunday, it's just that tightness and coming together. And whoever we put on the pitch on Sunday, they'll be fully committed.
Look, last season, I don't think it's too cruel to say that some of what went on at Celtic Park was almost like a comedy of errors. It was almost whatever could go wrong went wrong for them. Have you been surprised how quickly that Postecoglou has picked up the threads from that squad and added to new people, and he seems to have got a tune out of players that perhaps over familiarity or being there too long had so Neil Lennon's career kind of run into the sand?
I very rarely comment what's happening elsewhere. You know, we're very much aware what's happening across the city, but we're always fully concerned about what we do. And generally, in an old firm, it's how we perform. You know, we've seen Celtic score some goals recently. We're aware of the strengths, you know, but our preparation will be the same. Our analysis look at the games at every angle. We'll look at the strengths and the weaknesses of the opponent, and we'll prepare the exact same as every other game for this game on Sunday. We'll go in there and we want to get on the front foot. We're at home. We're in front of our own fans. And if we can all come together, it'll be a good game.
Hi, Gary. You mentioned there about the players returning from suspension and injuries. Obviously, you've got a few that are out through COVID and self-isolation. Who, if any, of those players are likely to be back?
Well, that's on the COVID issues, we're guided by doctors and we're guided by the governing bodies. So we'll just wait as we adapt day by day to see who's available and who's not. And that's all we can do. You know, and come Sunday, we'll be given a squad of people who are available and we deal with it.
In terms of Stephen as well, I mean, is that the same case? And if he is missing, you know, what's the setup come Sunday?
The same goes for everybody. Everybody who's involved in COVID. They're just guided by doctors and governing bodies.
It was interesting, Gary. Stephen Gerrard said, you know, as Rangers started to win more of these fixtures, about that more belief in the mentality of building a belief to win in this fixture. Does it change in a way now that Rangers have been dominating over the last year and a half, and now Celtic are the ones that have to become the ones who are challengers now? Does that change your approach and mentality?
We hope to think that our boys, you know, would show that little bit of confidence in the fact that we've done pretty well in this fixture. But in general, you know, watching these games for many, many years, form and previous history in this game tends to go out the window. It's what happens on the day, you know, and who's going to make the first mistake. Goals, the games are over the years generally set pieces play a big part as well. But as I said, I've always said in this game, you must remain fully concentrated and focused. Don't get carried away with the game because there's got to be some sort of calmness in behind there as well.
With a full Ibrox or near full Ibrox with all Rangers fans, does that add more pressure and expectation, or is that a massive boost that it's like the 12th man?
I see it as a coming together, you know, and that's from the right at the top of the club. The chairman right to the people that help us up at the training ground. If we can all come together for this game on Sunday, because it's been a tough 3 or 4 days, and just that if everybody, the fans, staff, you know, the board, everybody comes together for this fixture, we can hopefully go and try and get a result.
Gary, obviously a lot of the focus has been on yourself and Mick in the last 24 to 72 hours, but that wider staff that you guys have got at the club, from, you know, Dot Waller, the physios, everyone around the whole place, how crucial have they been to get everyone going for last night and then for Sunday?
No, what I would say is all the staff that have jumped up from the academy side or the B squad, they've been outstanding, and it has been the case, you know, because the facts are that we're all off the same hymn sheet. You know, we believe in the same things, and it has been nice. It's been very reassuring in the last 2 or 3 days that all the guys that have come from the B squad and come from the academy side have really mucked in and we've come together, and that's been the message. You know, we've got to stay nice and tight and together.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Welcome back, guys. You there, guys? Rudy?
Aye, back.
Indeed we are.
I think Gary McAllister handled the press as just as eloquently as our gaffer does, guys. A lot of strange questions asked there by certain parts of the media, wasn't there? But he seemed to bat them away pretty easily. So, you know, well done to the gaffer. What's your thoughts, Rudy?
Why would you? First of all, why would you ask Gary McAllister about their manager? I mean, really, he's not going to comment on that. He might have private thoughts on that, but he's certainly not going to sit there in a presser and start talking about it, is he? Really? I mean, to think that you're going to ask that question and get an answer after Gary McAllister's just idiotic. But that aside, he dealt with the press really well. I thought I don't think he gave much away as far as players coming back. You know, he talked about Barker, Katic, you know, the new player, Juninho,
Acuna.
He mentioned him.
Balogun.
Balogun. But that doesn't tell us anything about Roof and, you know, McGregor and, you know, Tavernier, guys like that, you know, which is good. I don't really care. I don't want them to tell them anything anyway, you know, so I'm happy with that. If we get a wee surprise come Sunday, when we see the team, the starting 11 and the bench, and we get 2 or 3 surprises, he did mention 4 or 5 players, then that'd be great if we get some of our more sort of experienced professionals back for the game on Sunday. Yeah, I thought he did brilliantly, but look, he's got a long history of dealing with press when he was at Liverpool and Leeds and all these kind of clubs, so he knows what he's doing, Mark, you know.
Yeah, Bridgeman, what did you think?
I thought it was absolutely disgusting. I don't know who allowed that person to ask the questions. They want to ban that person. Never again should be allowed to ask a Rangers manager questions like that. Never. Nobody. I'm absolutely raging at that. But raging. That is completely unprofessional. The man's they're just come out of the park and he's asking them questions about Celtic. Go away, please, for a long, long distance and a long, long time. Ban them. That's me. Sorry, other than that, I thought Gary McAllister did very, very well. Given the situation with COVID and the result and possibly the way we played, maybe the impact from the weather caused that, the heat wave and so on and so forth, I think that we handled ourselves well. The managers handled themselves well, Gary Mac. And I think it's brilliant. I just don't want to see idiots asking idiotic questions. That's what that's about. And they're trying to do it. They're trying to make a fool of Rangers. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a fool of Rangers. The same. I can't even explain half the things that go on. But see, that's it. I'm not saying anymore. That's it.
Right, I think we've been joined by our first call for the night, guys. We've got Andy from Crookston. How are you doing, Andy?
Good evening, Gary, Bridgeman, Rudy Bear, and everybody else.
Evening, Andy. Evening, mate.
Good evening, all. Can I just say, first of all, the other night when I was on, rudely interrupted while someone was speaking. Thoroughly apologise about that.
Don't worry about it, Andy, mate. Don't worry about it.
It was me interrupted and I wanted you banned.
It was rude and it won't happen again. I apologise for that.
Oh, thanks for that, Rude. There's no need, mate.
No worries. But anyway, anyway, the interview Gary Mack gave there was absolutely superb. And about them going on about Celtic, there's nothing about Celtic. They're talking about the game on last night. You know what I mean? And it's just all as you were saying there. There's a bit rambling on about Celtic. Yes, Celtic that. F Celtic. You know what I mean? Right. But anyway, on to last night. Delighted to get through. Absolutely delighted. The job is done. That's what we went over today. Get the job done. All right, wasn't a brilliant performance, but we went over there with one thing in mind, was to get through, and probably 2, and no injuries, and we've done that. So that was my first point.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you think about the game last night? What was your opinion on the game last night, Andy?
I thought, well, to be honest, I thought we were a bit passive. We weren't really in full flow. We weren't really passing the ball as quick as, I know it's really, really hot, and must be playing. You know what it's like when you go on holiday and it's scorching hot and you're down the beach or whatever. I imagine running about for 90 minutes in that heat. It's absolutely. It must have been hellish for them. But on the game, I wasn't. I was happy. Obviously delighted we're through, but the performance, it was okay, but it wasn't brilliant.
But the most important thing is, Andy,
we're through.
We're through, mate. Indeed,
for the
indeed.
fourth time in a row yet, which I thought is an absolute amazing achievement. An amazing achievement. And if anybody wants to come in that before I get my next point.
It's a great achievement,
right,
Andrew. You're right. I mean, 4 seasons in a row, mate. You can't complain about that, you know. And we might have started off the season, you know, not as well as we'd like to have done. You know, we still seem to be getting players back, fit for suspensions, fit for injuries, all that kind of thing. And I'm sure we'll take after. There'll be no better game to take the season off to start kick the season on for us than there is on Sunday. But 4 seasons. 4 times 4 years and 4 times we've qualified for the group stage of the Europa League. You can't sniff at that, mate. You're right.
Just take yourself back, guys. Sorry, Andy. Just take yourself back, guys, to Pedro Caixinha standing in the bushes.
Yes.
Think about now. Think about now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your next point, Andy?
It was about Alfredo Morelos and the chances he missed. I think it was Gary that mentioned that if that was Roof, he would have put them away. And I totally agree with him. I totally agree with Morelos. Seems to score the more sort of a not wonder goal, but the goal that, you know, how could I say it? Like the goal that's least expected. He'll stop, turn and spinning one, and you know, and put it into the roof of the net or whatever, or he'll, you know, cut inside like he did with Celtic and on his left into the top corner. But I know he should have scored at least 2 of them last night. But I'm sure on Sunday he'll be back to his best.
Aye. Andy, just to let you know, by the way, mate, I'm not being rude, but it's not Gary on the night, it's Portbairn, mate.
Oh, Portbairn, is it? I thought somebody said Gary.
Wait till Gary finds out you don't recognise him.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was a good looking one tonight. I was Gary for 20 minutes.
Bridgeman, you should have barred me.
Oh, he tried, Andrew. Believe us, he did try. He tried. But we weren't having it.
Yeah, so on to Sunday, I'll be there, and let's hope we get the 3 points. But what I think as well could rile the players up as well. Now that we've got through and we've got that group, a lot of players will be wanting to show, you know, that they're worth that shirt. I know we've got a lot of injuries not coming back and stuff like that, and suspensions. But a lot of them players who will get that chance on Sunday will want to prove that they're worth that shirt to you know, for the Europa League as well. You know,
we had some poor performances, Andrew, this season, haven't we? Really, personally, from different players.
We have, yeah.
Do you think Sunday's a good game to sort of kick their season off with? You know, if they can put in personally a good performance, but more importantly, I suppose, as a team, a good team performance. Sunday's a great game, isn't it, to kick that off?
Yeah, there's no bigger game, is there? There's no bigger game to kick the start of that season. To kickstart the season for us. If we put on a great performance with the full team, you know, and get 3 points or you know, an excellent performance, and even if Celtic did give us, you know, they had a great game as well, and it was a end-to-end game, and it was, you know, like both teams at it, and it was a 2-2 draw, so it's still positive. Do you know what I mean? Considering the season we've had, would you agree with that?
Aye, 100%, Andrew, 100%, mate. That's been absolutely fantastic points you've made tonight, mate. But the lines are pretty busy, mate. So we're going to have to thank you. All right, man. And you call in again anytime. Great points again, buddy. Okay.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. No, that's it. Over and done with.
Cheers, Andrew. Cheers. And remember, you're not bad.
Cheers, Andrew.
Take care.
Night, mate.
Bye.
Bye, mate.
I think we've been joined by Kenny. How you doing, Kenny? Maybe not yet.
that he's doing a Bridgeman port.
Just what we're touching on earlier on in regards to the Europa, just before I finish this on, before we move on to the Celtic game, lads. I was reading a bit today about the new format of the Europa League. Obviously, you know, we've got the Champions League, you've got the Europa League, which is 32 teams do. It's smaller. Then you've got the Conference League. Now, I don't know if you're aware of the rules, right? If you top the group, you go into the last 16, right? So it's important to top the group, right?
Right.
If you get to the second, you drop into the knockout phase, which means the 8 teams that drop out from the Champions League, you'll face one of them. And if you finish third, you drop into the Conference League. So finishing top would be super, but that's some format, guys. It's a big change, isn't it?
It's huge. It's a massive change. There's so many more games now as well, Mark. But what it also means too is it gives you a better chance of having European football in one format or another past December as well. You know, I mean, let's face it, we don't really want to drop into the conference, do we? You know. So it'd be great if we could have a successful Europa League, you know, finish top of the group, which, you know, I mean, you're going to talk about that later, obviously. But, you know, if we can get ourselves up and running again, Mark, the way we did last season, I don't doubt we could finish top of that group. We've done it last season, we could do it again. But, as I said, the way that it's been configured now, the European competitions, the 3 of them have now been configured. You know, you've got many more teams playing in it now. Gives you a much better chance of having European football past December.
Aye. I think we'll be joined by Kenny.
Kenny's here.
How you doing, Kenny, mate? What's your thoughts, mate?
All right, guys. How you all doing, mate? Guys, you know what I mean?
How you doing, Kenny? You doing well, Kenny? You doing well?
Aye, sorry. Davis call Andrew. Andrew, you're listening. Love to your family, your old man, and your sister. Be in touch shortly. Good friend of the family, you know.
All right.
Anyway, where do we start here? I'm not going to discuss last night too much. Underwhelming again, you know. We've discussed it. It's on now to Sunday. After the game last night, I watched their game, first time this season, to see what this Celtic team is all about. Quite frankly, underwhelmed. Defensively, right now we're bad, but I think you're actually better than them. If you get a high press on Sunday, we can win this game. We've got to finish. We will create chances. The Japanese striker, nifty wee player, but easily bullied off the ball. I studied them. To start to finish, they're flawed. They're wide open at the back. They've got this, the way the full backs came inside, everything else. If you get a pace up front in a Kent or right, you can cause them a lot of damage, but we've got to finish. This is not the Celtic team that's going to the press. I don't read the papers right now, but the Celtic fans that are making out that we've got something. I never fear playing Celtic at any time, and no Rangers fans should. We can win this game this Sunday. We can win it.
Do you know the problem with them?
Despite our underwhelming form, by the way.
Do you know the problem with them is, Kenny? Yeah, nobody's pressed them the way AZ did last night. That's the problem. And they got pressed last night with a good team who were capable of putting the ball in the back of the net, and you saw exactly what happened. Their defending was and their goalkeeping was shambolic for the 2 goals. Had that been Rangers, I'd have been getting off my nut if we'd lost 2 goals like that. And that's the problem. Robbie Nielsen said it better than anybody could have done. He said in the 3-2 game, after a game, he came out and he said, our problem was we didn't press them in the first half. We did in the second half. And that's how hard goals. So you press them. You don't give them time in the ball. You don't let them swan about like they're Barcelona, because they're far from that. So you get in their faces and you don't let them.
But see the worry thing for me is, right, and this has been a terrible August for us, right? You take in the Malmo game, right? The Ibrox game, right? 35 minutes straight, brilliant, high tempo game. Lost crowd to last Sunday, you see again, 35 minutes, high tempo, you know. Then comes we've gone for a cup of tea now, you know what I mean? And this is where you see me switch off. Even last night, the tempo wasn't high in the game with Rangers, but but in total control. You know, you felt the goal was coming. It should have been 2 or 3 up, right? I'm not going to discuss what it's built discussed, but then there comes the slackness, the passing becomes sloppy. This slop. It's like a 35-minute round about that time, and I've noticed this with Rangers. You know, 35 minutes into a game, you should be cruising, really cruising. Ross County last Sunday, you're 2-0 up. My daughter sat and watched the game in here in this house, like 3-4-0. No, here it comes. The slackness sets in. What is it? This drop off at round about 35-minute mark, and I've noticed it.
Do you think it's a fitness thing, Kenny?
Well, it shouldn't be. If it's a fitness thing, we've got real problems, by the way. We're a few weeks into the season now, you know. I mean, the fitness should be right up to scratch. I'm not sorry, Rudy, but I'm not accepting this one.
I don't blame you.
This fitness thing, you know, it doesn't wash me, you know. To me, it's a concentration, slackness, you know, comes into their play. Round about the 35-minute mark, they could take the ball, hit the game, high-tempo football performance on Sunday for the kick-off. You could maybe go a goal or 2 off. Then I'm looking at the clock. It's round about the 35-minute mark. You know, this slackness comes into their play. We'll get the game 1-0 or whatever, right? We'll go for a cup of tea, right off time, we'll restart after half-time. That's the way it appears. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be flippant when I'm saying it. I'm studying this team. And we never had that last season. So where is this high tempo intensity for 90 minutes going?
Hello?
So where's that intensity in their play going? That 90-minute high tempo, you know?
Aye. Bridgeman, you have any comments on what Kenny's been saying, mate? Bridgeman?
He's in mute.
The damn thing wouldn't let me off as well, I can tell you. Sorry, what was that? I do apologise.
Just Kenny's points on how Rangers have been starting the season so far, and he thinks 35 minutes into the game they just seem to fall out, etc. Can you put your finger on why this is happening?
Well, I don't know if I could put my finger on it. I always, when players start to do that, there's either a slight, in my opinion, either a slight disinterest in what's happening around about them, or they're not fully match fit. And we're not talking about physical fitness here, match fitness where your coordination stuff kicks in, and if you're not 100% concentrating, then you're not going to see what's going on in about you all the time, you know. And you know, having played football, everybody that knows it has played football knows you've got to be ready for everything that happens round about you, particularly within 5 yards of you. If you don't spring into action when that comes in, even to get yourself ready, the ball's going to go past you and go past you at speed. And that's what's happening with Rangers at times. They're standing there, they think they see the ball coming, but they're not ready for it. And there's a link there between those two. I don't know what it is. Maybe they do with coaching, I don't know. But hopefully the manager and the coaches will get into that, get that sorted out. And there might be a psychological thing, modern day football might do that with. But it needs to get sorted out, because we're going to be playing theoretically we're going to be playing a very, very high tempo game against our sworn enemies every weekend. So we can't afford to be standing in the back step. We want to be front step, don't we? We want to be in the front foot to do our business. That's what we need to do. Get everything up squared up, all the way up and tidy. Get it there and go in right into them. That's what we need to do. But be ready for it.
I think we'll be joined by Blue Star. Blue Star.
All right, Port. Evening, Bridge. Evening, Rudy.
Hey, Blue Star. How you doing?
How you doing, Blue?
Not bad. Calmed down a bit for last night after watching that garbage, but end result, at least we got through. I think that was a great point with Kenny there. By the way, guys, I need to make a comment on that presser. It was one thing asking him questions on that other mob, but even that other guy that came in there towards the tail end, what on earth are they doing asking him about tea women and backroom staff? And that's an utter disgrace. But you're right, that's absolutely shocking. Shocking.
You're right, mate.
Guys, I think that's a great point with Kenny. Rudy, I think the last person I spoke to on it was yourself. Since the start of the season, for me, I said it again last night, I don't think we've come out of first gear in any game. We've had wee bursts down again, and Kenny's bang on when he says this carry on about 35 minutes. In some games, it's actually been a lot more. Going on the fact that they've got a wee guy up front who seemingly, as yet, he's still to prove himself, but seemingly he can put the ball in the net. Granted, they're certainly playing a bit of a high-pressing game. The one thing we've got to do on Sunday, we've got to start off in the front foot. After all, we're playing at home. It's all our fans that's there. We've got to go at them. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, I watched the highlights of their game. Only for self-interest. And the bottom line is, make no mistake about it, they were garbage last season. But I'm telling you, their defence is even worse. So to get at them, you're going to score goals. But for us to get at them, irrespective of who we're playing, who we've got in our side, guys, we've got to start off a high tempo, high pressing, and we've all got to be fit. Now, I don't know whether it is a fitness issue or no. You wouldn't like to think so. If it is, we've got big problems. It must be an attitude thing. It has to be.
Do you think they're coasting Blue Star and what they done last season, domestically and in Europe?
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I'll tell you, see the first couple of pressers that the guys played for were manager Gerrard. If you remember right, I think it was the second one after Dundee United. I've never seen Steven Gerrard like that. He always knows what's coming, and you could see it in his face. Rudy, we spoke about it. You could see it in the manager's face. He was absolutely flummoxed. He was as good as telling you he doesn't know what the score is. So I think there's a wee bit in that, Kenny. I think there's a wee bit of self-reliant. They're living in past laurels because they won it last year. Well, you can't do that at flipping Rangers, no matter how good a player are.
Louis, exactly, mate. One swallow doesn't make a summer, mate. You know what I mean? It's someone that team 11 half last season. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this drop off. You know, running about the 35-minute mark, right? They're about so many. The shitty games we've played this season. That is high intense football we've had, right? We see that against Malmo Irish for 35. Then comes the drop half. End of the second half, they were all over us, right? You felt the goal was coming, get it off. It didn't continue. The test that we played in that 35 minutes didn't come again. Then it was a copycat of what happened over a week before it. We see that first county, all right, weaker opposition. They're 2-0 up. Cruising in the game, right? You know, never miss a game. We go to the games, watch the games, but I'm like, here it comes again. The slackness, the sloppiness comes into play. The game's over. No, here comes another sloppy goal. I'm sick of this. Last night we were actually quite lucky. We wasn't a better team. You can go into the heat and all the rest of it. Fitness levels and all the rest of it. There was only 2 or 3 players I gave pass. It's a game I want to erase from my memory. I'm not annoyed about it. It was a goalkeeper, Helander, and Baribo. That was it for me last night. The rest of them were under 5.
Well, the thing that still rankles in me on that, guys, Rudy, you know yourself, and you spoke about it too. The bottom line is, when we know we can't go back, we look back a way, but see the Malmo game, I think a lot rests on that. If you remember right, we were well in tap in that game. We're 1-0 up going into the second half against 10 men. See the minute they came out, give them their due. They played it the right way. They came out and they had a go at us. Our players couldn't get back up for that game. Now, if you can't get back up to get into a Champions League where they're getting big bonuses on top of the hefty wages that they've already got, I can't get that out of my head. Never mind last night.
Exactly.
I know last night obviously they knew they were up against an inferior team. We all did. Anybody with common sense about football and knows anything about football knows they were an inferior team. But whether they were playing at one pace thinking they just had to go through the game unscathed so that they were keeping themselves fitter for Sunday, that's immaterial. If that's the case, then why didn't they just bust the net in the first half and come out so that the manager could put on 4 and 5 other players in the second half? Do you know what I mean, guys? And the same thing happened in that Malmo game for the Champions League game. Our players came out that second half, and because that team had a wee bit of a go at us, honestly, I'm telling you, I've watched it about 3 times since. They couldn't get up for it. Now, that's my worry. I don't know whether it's lethargy. I don't know. As I say, it better not be fitness or we're in big trouble. But our manager has come out. No, of course it can't be. Our manager has come out since. Rudy, you know we spoke about it. And Stevie G's last couple of pressers has more or less, he's never been like that in all the time he's been there. He's more or less gained the impression he doesn't know what the score is. He doesn't. Now, that's down to the players' attitude. Now, whatever's happened, I don't know. But let's just hope and pray. They came out on Sunday and they're going to go at it for the 90 minutes, not for one half. Kenny's right in what he's saying. Our players are going to play for 90 minutes, not 80 minutes, 90 minutes to start and finish.
Blue start. Rangers could start that game brilliantly. A high-tempo football, right? A high-tempo, and get ahead in the game, right? I will never be comfortable because of what I've seen so far this season. It comes as slackness into play. I'm saying that round about that time, it's the tempo Rangers are playing it. I've seen it twice this season. Malmo, it just drops. When is the last time you've seen that 90-minute intensity?
Yeah.
And they're going to have that. And by the way, I mean, I watched their full game the first time. I had to watch that game last night after to see all this great thing with Celtic. You know what I mean? And they are flawed all over the place. You know what I mean? But the problem for me is, can we take out the advantage? If we get somebody that can put that ball in the net, I said last week in here on this show, we needed 3 players. We needed a midfield player looking for this box-to-box, right? Another defender and a poacher. Right now, Alfie, for me, you could prove me wrong, I hope Rude plays on Sunday. I'm not even going to name a team right now because I still don't know who's available and who's not. It's impossible. But Morelos last night, you know what I mean? I think it was yourself. Was it yourself that said last night, actually? I caught it right after the Celtic game. He said that he missing the chances. He's not prolific. You're right. He's not prolific.
In all honesty, he would not have been out of the second half for me.
Right,
I would have had that on.
Blue Star, going to jump in, guys. Going to jump in here and thank you for your calls, guys. We're getting inundated with calls. Just to let you know, guys, there'll be no show on Sunday. Obviously, everyone about the Old Firm game. And we're going to go to our tune. Thanks very much, guys, for calling in, all right? Cheers.
Okay, Paul Benny. Good night, all. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard. We've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. successful team in football. Well, Scotland's gallant few. Well, times they have been hard. Well, followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park. Whoa.
Oh, goosebumps. I wish
Tune and a half. Tune and a half.
Whoa. That's fabulous. What an anthem. What an anthem. Well done.
Brilliant.
It'd be great to hear 50,000 singing that.
But
weekend, guys, eh?
It'd certainly give you all goosebumps, wouldn't it?
Oh, I've got them new, mate. I've got them new, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I think we'll get George from EK. How we doing, mate?
It's me just recovering, Port Bear, man. Bridge, man, all the rest of the boys, man, after that pure, absolutely discombobulated performance last night, man. Honestly, that was entertaining, man. It's a silent but violent fart, man. A single-end kitchen. Absolutely shocking, by the way. Alfred, I'm telling you, Alfredo was wearing the thing, mate. Goldston's wellies last night, by the way, you know what I mean? Because I think it was pure shocking, by the way, you know what I mean? He's probably injured at the weekend because he get welly rash. I'm talking about. I'm saying, you see me go for water breaks. What's in your water? Margadon. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, man, if it's up to me, it'd be Colombian Espresso.
So you didn't enjoy it then? No,
I did. Mate, I was like, I've seen this video before. They're going to squat a goal in at the end, and we're going to be knackered. The final whistle went, I was like, man, I need Valium, man. On the whistle.
That was my worry, George. I said that, at the beginning of the show. I was worried that they'd score and take it into extra time because I didn't think we had the legs for that. And that
we weren't. We were knackered on our feet. That's some saying they're Mogadon in that water.
So, what did you think of the group stages? The draw day, George?
I don't even know who the team we got.
Right, we've got Lyon, Sparta Prague, and Brøndby. That's who we got.
Well, we better up our game then, huh?
Big time, mate. Big time. Totally agree with you. I think there needs to be massive conversations, which I think have already probably been going on, in my opinion. Listen, guys, I've got a. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've got a theory. I done like Blue Star touched on. I looked on how Celtic's played so far this season. Looked at the AZ game last night, and the other night. Sorry, and they should have been 2 up. Well, obviously Celtic won the first leg, and then they beat Celtic last night 2-1, I believe. Right. But when I watched it, even the first match, they should have scored 2 in the first 5 minutes.
And they should have had a penalty.
A stone waller, right?
Stone waller, absolute.
Yeah. So I think they're all out. In my opinion, guys, right? Their all attacking style could be their downfall. Because what they do is they play with 2 inverted fullbacks. So you've got Ralston who comes in, and you've got Taylor who comes in alongside who their pivot is, which I'm surprised about, Callum McGregor. So it leaves them 2 fullback positions wide open where we love to play. And in my opinion, if we play, and I hope he's fit, Roof, Morelos and Kent against their, McGregor, Starfelt and Welsh, I think we can really get at them. I mean, Postecoglou is so determined to, stick by this tactical, master plan he's come up with. And I think, guys, this could be their downfall because I think we are more adaptable during games.
Honestly, I was talking last night trying to get myself happy. I was like, I'm listening, by the way, can't be any bad worse than that, surely, by you know what I mean? For Sunday, man, come on, we'll go up the game on Sunday, by I was like that. And I'm getting phone calls from people. I mean, you never heard that before, man. These so-called Celtic supporters, man, they seem to just go missing. You know what I'm talking about, man? Last season, never heard them. Phones didn't work or nothing. No, I mean, no, well, like Brazil for 1970. I'm like, shut up.
See, there's one thing about it, George. See, every game has a trade, a trade-off of tactical geniuses. If they're going to play all-out attack, then we can counter that all-out attack. That's exactly how we'll set up. And he's so determined to play this fast-flowing football and come out of the traps and really get at Rangers that we'll exploit space, mate. And our front three against their defence will absolutely run right, in my opinion.
Yeah, Paul.
Yes, mate.
Even that didn't come on last night. We never down to 10 men.
Yep.
Do you think you done it?
I don't recall me even touching the ball, mate.
Mate, I you just ran up and down the pitch, man. I've never seen him kick a ball at all.
I don't think he touched the ball, mate. I think we've been joined by Alex Kelly. How you there, Alex?
Good evening, Port. Good evening, Rudy. George.
Evening, Alex.
All right, Alex, mate.
Evening,
mate. How you doing, Alex? Sort these people out, Alex.
Fine,
Sort these people out, pal.
By the way, George, where do you get your patter from, man? That was absolutely brilliant.
Mate, it just came off the top of my head, Marker.
You should be a stand-up comedian. You're in the wrong game, mate.
I'm telling you, man, last night I was lying to myself. I was just about to tan my ankles, man, with a butter knife. I can't take any more.
Anyway, Port, you just stole my thunder there.
Sorry, mate, sorry. Give me it. Let's hear it. Let's see what we got.
Your evaluation, I thought, was bang on. Listen, see all this Ange ball rubbish that the media are coming out with. It's basically with Gerrard's
hilarious. That's laughable.
3-4 year. You know, but what Port there was describing there, the fullbacks, he calls up inverted fullbacks. They come inside. Our fullbacks bomb on past their wingers, but our midfielders are disciplined to cover the spaces that we leave, so we keep our shape all the time. Celtic play a 2 at the back and 8 up front, and it's like a game of school football. See, when you watch it, you will be amazed. I think we can hurt them. I really do. See, if we play 2 up front all the time, a Roof or a Kent or Morelos or whoever it is, we've got a 2-on-2 with them constantly. Like, say, Glenn Kamara, ball retention's absolutely brilliant. He breaks up play, he spots people in space, bang. We're 2-on-2 with him, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. We are terrible in defence. But
I'd like to see Roof start at the weekend if that's a possibility. I'd like to see Roof up front with Morelos.
Yeah.
And either Ryan Kent or Scott Wright as well up front. Because I think we need a bit of pace and technical ability. You get the technical ability off of Roof. He's a better, more natural goal scorer than Alfredo is. But when Alfredo's on his game, nobody ties defenders up the way Alfredo does. They're petrified him, and he can take them on at the one time, Alec, you know. But I made the point a wee while ago there, and it's already been said, so it has, you know. Robbie Nielsen came out after the 3-2 game against Hearts, and Robbie Nielsen says our problem is we didn't attack them in the first 45 minutes of the game. We sat back and let them come at us. We didn't score, we didn't get any success until we started attacking them in the second half of the game. That's what they've been allowed to play this style. Don't allow them to play it. It's as simple as that.
I tell you the other big thing, Rudy, when Ralston and Taylor come inside into that inverted role, they often get caught square on the ball, mate, because they don't. These guys are fullbacks. They don't know how to play in centre of midfield, so they're caught square. So see if we press these guys, mate. We'll catch the ball and we'll take the ball off them in dangerous positions.
Right, see when they're coming into the middle of the park like that, Mark, you're asking them to play as midfielders when they get there. Right, see where wing backs run past them. They're caught out of position. They know that. That's in their head. So they're thinking, wait a minute, I'm not meant to, I shouldn't be here. Now, they might get away with it with teams that are willing to sit back and park the bus against them because they've got plenty of space to play in. But if you get in their faces, if it's Taban, just say it's Taban Barisic or Taban Bassett, whoever it happens to be, if they're flying up that wing and doing what they normally do is flying wing backs, see when they're doing that, they're getting past them when they're coming inside. Right? That'll create absolute chaos in their back four. So it will. Yeah. And then when you've got Morelos and Roof and Scott Slits, Kent or Scott Wright up there as well, moving at them with pace, we could actually absolutely tear them apart, but we've got to be on our game. That's the thing. We've got to hunt in packs, we've got to play as a team, and we've got to play with pace and tempo, Mark. That's how you do it.
Mate. Bang on. Bridgeman, what do you think tactically? What do you think what you've heard? How do you see? Do you see any weaknesses or any space to get at?
I think we've got to play our own game and just worry about ourselves. Because like we've been watching Old Firm games for me it's more than 60 years watching Old Firm games, and very few times there's more than two. There's normally completely different games with different tactics all the way down. And yeah, we do play normally with sort of flying fullbacks who do pass their wingers or bring them into the game at an inside forward position. But we need to watch out in our midfield. We need to be our midfield must be really strong at the weekend, because that's where they've got strong players as well. A lot of these guys are starting to show a bit of form who in their team who weren't, and so I'm not that I see them that much other than I'd be highlight. But seriously, we need to be ourselves and can concentrate on what we need to do. The manager and the board need to do it all. They need to bring more players in, go and get them. But we need to do it. Yeah, we need to concentrate, pick the team, do the business. Mr. Gerrard's got to do it. I don't know whether Gerrard is going to be available this weekend, for instance. So that might be a wee surprise for us if he's not. So, but we need to do it. We need to look after ourselves, concentrate on ourselves, and not worry too much about what they're going to do. That's up to the management. They'll fix it.
Well said, Bridgeman. Right, we've been joined by the Thunder from down under. All right, Big Al?
Yes.
All right,
Big Al.
Good evening, Puddle Drinker Radio. You're a liar. You've been watching Rangers longer than 60 years, but what you said there was the most sensible thing I've heard all night. All right, and that's me, George Fieke, the chemist. With Gravy Boy and Rudy Bear, Kenny and Blue Star have been smoking a wacky backy. Right, I'll tell you one thing. I have never watched the Puddle Drinkers in my life. Anything,
well said, mate.
They will never ever be on my telly. So why do you all know how they play?
Exactly.
Kenny, Blue Star, man. What he's on sitting watching the game, watching their tactics, whatever. Bridge is totally right. We need to concentrate on ourselves. If I'm not mistaken as well, I would know through that tie for last night. It was a crap game. The games have been pretty crap all season actually for the Tranmere game, but we're up there. We're through that game. That's a good draw for Europe. Was it Sparta Prague, Brøndby, and Olympic Lyon?
Yeah.
Am I correct? We beat Olympic Lyon last. What?
Morelos is Steve Leon.
Morelos is
Dembele.
The man who wants to go to.
Oh, Dembele.
No, Leon. Anyway, Morelos.
Stop taking name Mogadon, George.
No, that's in our wow.
You put them up your bum because you got a better hit when you do that.
Hey, I'm not into that, Caroline. That's not for me, that. I'm no
put them
like
under your eyelid. Do that. Put them under your eyelid.
Oh man, see that Australia, man? It's a strange place, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's a strange place. I'm listening to you, man. Jesus, crikey.
Hey,
No,
by the way,
no, guys, it's a family show.
Your
Come
wife
on
calls
now.
you. She did a hack in front of you.
She does that.
I bet she does.
Right,
That's
Big
a
Al.
euphemism for something else. The hacker.
Right, Big Al. How do you see the game going? I guess your opinion.
But the game on Sunday?
Yeah.
We go and win the game. I don't care what it is. I'll take a bridge, man. But I'm certainly not going to be worrying about them. Where did this phrase Ange ball come about for? Ange the ball bags, more like it.
Well said, Bingo.
Ange ball, man. Was that one of the... Oh, hey, by the way, can I just say something else while I remember? Alex.
Aye. Yes.
Is Alex? Alex, are you a freelance pundit? I hear you on another station sometimes.
Would that be Ibrox Radio at all, Biggie?
Aye, it would be, aye. You're very
I hope you enjoy the show, pal. You should phone in sometime.
I did. I tried phoning another week there, but there was no answer. You only got the one line.
It's wrong with the one line, I'm afraid.
You need to up your game, man. I mean, you're on Premier Radio now, man. That's like taking the third division. That one, isn't it? That's right. Anyway, aye. Sorry. No, look, we do our own thing. As Bridge says, look, Bridge is a very sensible man. We concentrate on what we do. It's a game I think that we should be looking forward to as a team. Obviously, something's a bit right at Ibrox at the moment. There's maybe a few different things, but I think it's a game that you can put all your other troubles to one side, go into this, and this can be the springboard for the rest of the season. I was hearing people talk on a radio station last night, saying it can be the springboard for some other team for the rest of the season, or it maybe doesn't even matter as much, blah, blah, blah. It matters, trust me, it matters to us. I think this is a game. The players like Morelos, look, last night, I heard a bit of criticism for Patterson, but I don't think Patterson played any worse than Tavernier would have played, if that makes sense. He put a cracking ball in, Alfie missed it. Had you put a cracking ball in, Alfie missed it. I don't think Alfie misses so many other chances. I'm along the lines with a few people as well. I don't think Alfie's an out-and-out striker. He's a worker. But I think he gets a chance. He scored goals. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, am I right, eh?
Yep.
Is that right? Yep. Aye. So, well, he's missed a couple of chances. He gets a chance. Does he miss the next one? I don't think so. So it's imperative we get the ball to him. I think they'll be all right on Sunday. We're at home. It's a big game.
Can I ask a question for the panel?
Yes,
for everybody.
Yes, mate.
Gary McAllister intimated in his post-match press conference last night that we could have 4 or 5 possible players available for the team. What players would you replace with the team last night? Say you had 4 and you'd everybody available. Who would the 4 be?
Yeah. Did he not mention Katic in that?
He did.
And Barker as well.
Right, Rudy, do you want to take the first stab?
Well, if we don't know what the team's going to be, obviously, come Sunday, because we don't know what the situation was with players being out, injured players being out. Is Ryan Kent got a wee injury? Is that, so, right. The 4 let's say 4, Mark, right, we'll start with 4. I'd like to see back in I'd like to see Roof back for the weekend. So I'd like to see Ryan Kent back for the weekend, because if I think there's ever a game where Ryan Kent is going to hit a bit of form, it's going to be Sunday. Right? So I'd bring Ryan Kent back in, I'd bring Roof in. As far as the back 4 goes, and the goalkeeper, I'd like to see Alan McGregor back again if that's a possibility, and I'd like to see Tav back again, because I'd be happy to go with a midfield of Davis, Kamara and Aribo at the weekend there. But I really think this is a game for the more experienced players like Tav, like Kent, Kemar, Roof. So that's the 4 guys I'd like to see back in again.
Mm-hmm. That's the 4 I want to know.
Bridgeman.
Come off of mute, Bridge. You could jump in, Big Al.
No, I'm here, pal. I'm here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries, pal.
Sorry, what was the question again?
The 4 players. Alright, Alex.
The 4 players, right? The 4 players. Well, I think I was listening there. The boys are right. I'm sure the manager said that Barker and Katic were among the 4 names that he gave. So, but they're not first teamers. They're not even in the pool to all intents and purposes. So I think we've been a bit ambitious there, in the hope that these people will be able to play against Celtic. And no disrespect to them in any way. If they come on and put the jersey on, then obviously we'll get it. They're supported. But I don't see. I wouldn't get too excited about Katic and Barker being part of the pool.
Do you not think, though, Bridgeman, that he was being a wee bit coy there when he said that? Do you not think he was kind of...
It's a possibility, of course.
You know?
He's feeding him krill, isn't he?
Aye.
Well, that's a good point there. I really don't know. I just think that Katic and Barker don't do anything for me insofar as the Rangers Celtic match, and that's been honest. So I'd like to know who the others were. I do agree with what you were saying about Roof coming back in, and I would have him paired up with Morelos at any time, because I think they two would make a good pairing. That's my opinion, you know. And I do want seriously, my head sometimes rules my heart. I actually want to see John Lundstram playing. I want to see him playing against the likes of them and see what he does. Because look, the truth of the matter is, the last time he played, he made a complete and utter fool of himself with the 2 bad fouls, stupid fouls, rather, to get sent off. And we can't afford him to get sent off. So it might be sort of pie in the sky for me.
Bridge.
Yes, Paul?
Are you saying that so we can find out what he's actually made of?
Well, I think he's a smashing player. It's only my opinion. I think he's a smashing player, and I think these games are one of the reasons why our management have brought him up. But since he's come up, it seems to me more like who was that clown that came up and said he was going to be the best player?
Joey Barton.
Right, so Joey Barton. I'm not saying that John Lundstram said anything, but our interpretation or idea of him is similar to that. But he's not doing that. He's not playing. He's a disappointment some of the times he plays. But I would absolutely love to see him playing tomorrow and get right into the atmosphere and see what it's like. And then I think you'd see a different John Lundstram.
Big Al, you got any opinion on that, mate?
I'm not much the same as Rudy, but I wouldn't play Aribo. I'd either, like Bridge, it's a toss-up for me in midfield with Lundstram or Arfield, and at the moment I think I would put Arfield in. I think Arfield gives us something, especially in a game. He knows how to play against them. He seems to have luck in the games, which I think is a big thing as well. But also I think him and Kent, and I think Kent will unleash himself on Sunday. I think it's important he has to play, because he's another one. I said it the other night there. He's got the what do you call it, the hoodoo of them. Whenever he plays against them, if he's gone into that game with no in great form, and he'll be going into that game with no great form behind him this season, something changes in his mentality when he's on that park.
He's a boogeyman.
Aye, I mean, he's like a loathing, you know what I mean? That
yeah.
Loathing could no do nothing, and then the next minute he's played against them, he's banged 2 goals, and I think Kent's got that, and that I think that's critical. You've seen players in the past for the opposition are like that against us. I'm not going to mention them, but they had players like done hee-haw, done nothing, but yet when they played against us for whatever reason, and I think we've got 2 players there in your Arfield and a Ryan Kent that can do something against them. I also think Morelos, he's broke that hoodoo as well against them. He's scoring on Sunday. Whether it's 1 or 2, he's scoring on Sunday as well.
Does anybody think Bacuna will make the bench or have any part in the game?
He's not kicked up all since June, is he?
No, I don't see
him.
The manager doesn't play guys like he needs to wait for the next one. He's not playing any games. You know what I mean? He'll drips and drabs, I think. You never know. Look, you might pull Paul Van out of left field and play him.
He's known for it, isn't he? That's the only reason I'm asking the question. He's known for doing things like this.
I think that the manager would wait. If he's fit and available, the manager would wait until the sort of 72nd minute or something like that, before he thinks about putting them on, and it would depend on the score and how we're playing. But we don't.
But by the 72nd minute,
I'm using that loosely.
But by the 72nd minute, Bridge, we should have humped them, severely humped them.
Yes, indeed. But if it was 4 or 5 goals up, then you might just put them on anyway to get them a bit. I don't know. We don't know who else is going to be supporting the team. If the manager intimated that we've got guys coming in who are going to come back into the team, but the ones that just mentioned, the ones he's mentioned aren't part of the first team anyway.
Look,
so
this media the media blackout in regards to players that are available, I think, is playing into your hands as well. Because the puddle drinkers don't know what team's got to take the park.
Yeah,
that'll help us. I think the club are using this now, because it was the same the other night there. We didn't really know who was going to take the park, who wasn't. You know what I mean? It's just whoever takes the park has to be right up for it, and I think they will be, especially at home. Aye, go ahead, George.
I think Sunday, if we raise a game, raise a game, which 100% we should do. You know what I mean? We play, we're putting them back in their place. We're winning the bother.
Aye, of course.
Shut other traps up and the media and all.
Aye.
I've got a wee opinion about Sunday, guys. For me, Sunday determines the narrative, or redemption, or crisis, in my opinion. After finishing the season unbeaten, in a position of strength in the summer, where we all thought, you know, the additions that was added, we thought we looked stronger, in my opinion. You know, we could get into this international break, especially after qualifying for Europe and beating Celtic in a good place. Anybody get any thoughts on it? Is it going to be redemption or crisis, guys?
I agree with you 100%. I was talking to my mate about that today, Mark. I was saying to him, look, if we've qualified, all right, we all know it wasn't a great performance last night, but we done what had to be done. We'll go into the group section of the Europa League. That's what we all wanted. Well, we wanted the Champions League, but that's by the by now. We wanted into the Europa League group. We've got there, right? It wasn't pretty, but we got there. So, big game, Sunday, huge game. If we turn them over, which we're more than capable of doing, if we get a few of your players to hit form on Sunday and play the way we know they can play, and if we turn them over on Sunday, you go into the international break on a high. You get the whole season is completely. You start to forget about the bad performances, the subpar form of certain players and the team as a collective, and you start to think, right, okay, maybe this is us kicking the season off. So for me, I think we'll win on Sunday, Mark. I really do. I think we'll win 2-1 on Sunday. And I think we'll have players back who will be completely up for this game. I think we'll see different players to what we've seen in the last 7-8 games, where we might only have played about 90 minutes of really decent, what we would consider decent football in the last 7-8 games. Right? I think we'll see players up their performance at the weekend. I think we'll see players who'll go out there and they'll want to play and they'll want to get that 3 points and certainly want to get the win. I think that's what's going to happen on Sunday. I think we'll get a win on Sunday, and then we can get into that international break. It's a crisis, if you say. If we get scalped on Sunday, you know what's going to happen. Social media is going to be full of it. It's going to be absolutely full of it. So it is. But if we can put in a good performance, which I think we can do, I think we can get the win. I think we can get the 3 points. I'm positive about that. Then we get into the international break on a bit of a high. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Bridgeman, what do you think? Redemption or crisis, depending on result after Sunday?
Yeah, I think obviously the guys are right. If you couldn't beat them, then it completely lifts the whole club, and the support can come back home and be very happy and stay away from football for a fortnight or whatever it is, a week and a half. Yeah, it happens. It brings in and it makes you forget all the crap that you just went before. If you think it's been crap, then you'll feel a lot happier about it because you're beating them. But you know, it's there. It's there for a target, great target. But I'm only concerned about what players are going to be available for the manager. Is he going to be having to use the same squad as they had in midweek there, which was a really poor, watered down squad in our speak. So if you're looking to play them, you're looking for 16, 17 players on the bench, and I would like to know who the 16 or 17 players are. And I wouldn't like to see that team that we played, particularly the way they played in the second half. I wouldn't like to see all those players just getting thrown back into the deep end. There needs to be some change there to freshen it up, because although they're good players and things like that, they didn't do themselves any justice second half.
Cool. George, what do you think?
I think it is a case of crisis of whatever, you know what I mean? But I think if we get a cohesion, a continuity together, by we can play as we can, we're going to beat them, man, and there will be no crisis. That's what I think.
Alex Kelly?
I am still here. I think it's an interesting one. I think the media built everything up to this Ange ball that they keep terming it. It's a load of rubbish for me. It really is. The two have started the same way. The two have failed to qualify for the Champions League. The two have qualified for the Europa League. The two have lost one game. The two have won 2 games. You know, so there's nothing between the two teams. But if you listen to the media, you would think there was about 10 points between the two. That's the way they're building it up. I just think our mindset has got to change, because we've built ourselves up to be the champions of Scotland. We achieved that. We then expected probably to qualify for the Champions League. And I think the deflation of that defeat with Malmo has affected the players a lot to build themselves back up to the levels of where they should be. Nobody can build their players up apart from themselves. Gerrard's been telling them that for the start of the season. You've got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, fill that jersey and wear that badge with pride again. Sunday is a great opportunity to put our season back on track. And for me, the 4 changes I would make the team, if they're available, I think McGregor has to come back in goals. He's a massive player for us, and he's the guy that will make the big saves.
Can I come in on that? Sorry.
Just to finish my point, Briz, will be a minute. I would have Bassey coming back in for Barisic, because I thought Borna was well off it last night. Patterson will do the same job what Tav does. If Tav's still out, then it's not a big concern for me, because Patterson will go out there and he'll burst a gut. I can see Roof coming back in up front, and I can see Kent. Kent puts the fear of God into them. The only downside for last night's game for me is Davis playing that full 90 minutes in 36-degree heat. Is he going to be fit enough to play? If he's no, I would put Kamara in the middle with Aribo and Hadji either side of him.
I was just wanting to say that the points you made there regarding them and their games, their rewritten history, the 2 games that they get pumped out the Champions League have now been forgotten completely. They don't talk about it. They've never been part of their conversations in any way, shape or form. So all they've got is the games that they won and so on and so forth. They don't want to look back at those games. They just don't count it. The press ignore it altogether. It's as if it never happened.
Big Al, what do you think? Redemption or crisis, mate? Get into the international break.
I think Alex is very polished. He is the media now. You know what I mean? he's
I'll never go to that side.
His Indian name's 2 Station Alex. Crisis. I don't like how you phrase. You need to brush up on it a bit, Gravy Boy. You phrased it. I mean, you went for it's yin and yang there, isn't it?
Well, I'm just going on, mate. I think if we win, it's redemption. The season kicks on. You get to the international break. Gerrard gets the boys back on the training ground. But I think we'll have an absolute crisis, mate, if we lose.
I don't think we need redemption. So I don't think we need redemption. And if it's absolute crisis, that means you sack the manager.
No, I'm not saying that. But I think there'll be a lot of fans
what's the crisis?
Unhappy. The crisis will be the fans, mate. They will go absolutely berserk in an international break. And then we'll be 3 points behind them.
Oh, look, I'll know be a happy chat, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's absolute crisis. I think that's the wrong terminology, man. I think you maybe want to get a wee Mogadon in you and just relax a bit.
Get some of that Rangers water.
Aye. Look, I think Sunday. We say it all the time. That game's kind of stands alone, doesn't it? The games throughout the season stand alone. It's a totally different game. We'll win the game, so I don't see we're not in crisis. I don't think we're in crisis just yet. Players need to have a wee look in the mirror, and I think this is an ideal game for them to have that good look in the mirror. It's as simple as that. I think we win the game. Like I think we win the game. Yeah. However that's done, I'm not really giving it. Just I was thinking when you were all talking there, and look, all successful teams can't play at 100% all the time, but they get the job done. However that may be, we've not been playing great, but we've got the job done to a certain extent. The Champions League thing, I think that maybe just a wee bit too far for us. I think we can establish ourselves in that the Europa League, right? And I didn't mean to be disrespectful to a club in regards to that. Player-wise, we're nowhere near a Champions League thing. We'd be playing there and getting our arses kicked probably. Maybe not, but that's maybe my point of view. Whereas in this Europa League, I think teams will look at us with a bit of trepidation in regards to our form over the past 3 or 4 seasons. In that, I don't think Brøndby would have wanted to play us. I don't think Sparta Prague would have wanted to play us. And I don't think Olympic Lyon maybe wanted us in the group either, you know what I mean? Because I think they would see us as a threat, especially at home. Now, I think that's the same for Sunday. We've been pretty successful at Ibrox this season, have we not?
Yeah. The point you make, Al, about the Champions League's a good point, because Steven Gerrard said it himself, didn't he, after Malmo? He said, we're not ready. We are not ready to get in there and go toe-to-toe with the real big guns of Europe. He said that. He admitted that. So that fact just has to be accepted. We're a Europa League team. We've proved that, haven't we, in the last 3 seasons? That's what we are. That's the level we're at. You know, but as far as domestic football goes, there's absolutely no reason why, if our players, because we know how these players can play when they're on form and they're up for it, there's absolutely no reason we can't go and win this game on Sunday. But it takes a team effort. They've got to play for the full, as the boys were saying earlier, you can't play for half an hour of a game and expect to win it. Well, 9 times out of 10 you can't. Right, so you've got to play for the full 90 minutes. You've got to play as a team. You've got to have good form as a team. And individually, they've got to...
Unity.
Likes of Kent and Tav. If they're playing come Sunday, likes of Kent and Tav have got to up their game. So they have Barisic, in my opinion, wouldn't start if Bassey's fit to play. If Bassey can play, I'd go with Bassey at left back, because I thought Borna was awful last night.
Can I say something?
No.
Yeah.
You go, George.
They're talking about Katic getting let out to a Croatian team.
Yes.
You know, I think that's a downward step, man. He comes back here and might not know how to defend anymore.
It's Dynamo Zagreb, they're kind of no bad.
They're in Europa as well. Does anybody think... Listen, guys, we've... Sorry, Alex.
So I was just going to say, see the thing that nobody's really mentioned so far tonight? We've got 50,000 a home crowd cheering us on.
Exactly.
We've not got one person in there. Take the game at the scruff of the neck, put them under pressure and see how they cope with it, see how their character is. Bust their gut, put them under feet.
I was about to ask you that. Does anybody think this is their biggest... Is this their biggest challenge yet, guys? Playing in front of 50,000 players?
100%.
You know, a lot of new debutants that's never played in this game before, a new manager that's never played in this game before. We've won the last 6 games against them. Does that play a big part on Sunday, guys?
100%, Mark. If you look at it, you're going to have a Ibrox packed with Bears. There's not going to be any of them there. And as you say, how many of their players have never played there? You know, the players that have played, you know, the McGregors and the Christies and that, they'll tell them what it's like. Nobody knows what an Old Firm atmosphere's like until they've played in front of you. I've heard many a player say it. You know, if we get our experienced players back who's done it, who's been there for the last 6 games. The last 6 games, we've won 5 of the games and drew 1 game. Even when we didn't play well last New Year, we still won the game, as bad as we were that day at times, you know. So we've got the players that's got the experience. They've still experienced that Old Firm atmosphere, you know, when Bears, 50,000 Bears breathing down their neck, screaming the team. So they have.
Yeah. See that Joe Hart? Muller Construction, we're building scaffolding round about his arse in case it collapses after the first 5
There's other scaffolding companies available. See that, Alex? That's what a professional like. You that done, eh? Yeah?
You're learning, Biggie. You're learning.
I know.
Rich man, what do you think about the experienced players in Celtic, Rangers, fans, etc.? How do you think that'll affect their team?
Well, I don't think we're entering into an area or an era that we really don't know very much about. It's only ever happened once, I think, where there's no opposition fans in Ibrox in a full house. So hopefully it's a positive for our team and a negative for them. I would do well for us. It's an area we really don't know much about. We went from 7,000 or whatever it was of them in the Broomy to a wee 700 in the corner, and now there's none. So, and by the way, I hope it would last like that, but we'll need to see if it does us any good. If it does us any good, then magic, we'll retain it. As far as the form and that's concerned, we don't know what form we've got, and we don't know how they're going to react to an Old Firm game. We've just got to hope that they come in and get their socks pulled all the way up and just get stuck right in. That's what we need to do. It's an Old Firm game, and a lot of the boys don't quite understand what it is. So Big Golson and company, Stephen Davis, will be able to tell them all just what it's about and what to watch out for. Let's hope they can do it. And the manager obviously speaks the manager stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, do the business, Rangers, get right in there.
Alec Kelly, how do you think the new players, new manager will adapt? And this Rangers got the edge with winning the last 6 games, etc. With the psychological edge.
Well, I think it's definitely a factor, mate. We put the fear of God into them. They'll hear that Ibrox roar, and the place will be jumping, it'll be bouncing. They'll not be able to hear each other shouting. They'll try and stray passes will be jeered, and it'll be just try to put as much pressure on them. But we've got to start well. The guys have said umpteen times in the past shows, you can tell right away how we're going to play, where the kind of how we're zipping about between our back line. They've got to start with the intensity, put them under pressure. They'll rattle them right away because they've never experienced this. This is delving into the unknown, where we've actually had no support, away support at all. And it's going to be like that all season. I think what you'll tend to find, you've got to be winning your 3 points at home all season. So anything that you pick up, you're getting into a cauldron when we have to go there. You've got to go to Pittodrie at Tynecastle, Easter Road, where we're barely going to have any supporters. That's just the way it is now. So we've got to make home advantage massive. So 3 points is a must for me on Sunday. Lay down the marker, score a few goals, and just shut up all the haters.
Big Al?
Oh, Alex is very polished, isn't he? Very polished.
You behave yourself.
You're letting yourself down now. A proper pro wouldn't have said that to one of the guys. I wouldn't put too much stock on that. I'm not a big one for all the crowd. You get there, don't worry about the crowd too much. Because I don't think it's a thing that I wouldn't be saying to my players, look, we've got 50. They know what's happening. The new players, I think there's only a possibility of one new player playing, and that would be Lundstrom. I don't know, the rest are seasoned veterans in this game. Am I right in saying that?
Aye.
On our side, aye, yep.
Aye, on our side.
Aye, I'm not talking about. I'm not worried about them. I'm talking about us.
Exactly.
We've only got one new player, and that's a Lundstrom boy. So I think we're fine there. The squad knows what's expected of them when they're at home. So I think the crowd thing's an advantage, and I'm with Bridge. I wouldn't have any of them anywhere near us, man. Make sure the changing rooms are locked up in case any of them dip your wallet or try to take your watch. Things like that. I'll be telling them things like that. So, all joking aside, look, we get there. I don't know where he is tonight. He must be having a romantic dinner or something in the Ox chair. But he says it. We turn up, we play, we win. It's as simple as that. Whether that's by 5 goals or 1 goal, I don't care. We just get this in the bag, get over this wee hurdle. We have a nice wee break, and we come back firing.
I agree with you. I'll take anyone at all. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, mate. George, what do you think, mate?
Mate, I'm the same, by the way. If we come out the traps, by the way, play the way we can, by them, and just get all of them, they'll not know what hit them, know what I mean? And that's the way we should play, know what I mean? The way we always play. We're just too good for them, man. We're too slick for them, man. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Before you know it, by man, I think we'll be 2 goals up before they know it.
So we're all in agreement.
After that, they've got to open up to try and score a goal, by the way, and they're going to leave loads of gaps for us, and we'll hit them again.
Yep. So we're all in agreement that a fast start's a must. The Rangers way, the way we've done it under Steven Gerrard, we've always been fast tempo, which has been lacking this season. We can all admit this. We've not seen it so far this season. More often than not, I've said it on the show.
We saw that fast start last week.
Yeah, that's the only time we've probably seen it, mate. Yeah, but on consistency wise, this is what we need to have. We need to have this back to the form that we had, where we come out and we blow teams away. Like I said in this show before, I can tell sometime in the first 10-15 minutes. I think you said it, Rudy.
Yeah.
I think George has said it. Bridgeman's definitely says it. How we're going to play. So Alex Kelly, I've heard Alex Kelly saying the exact same thing. I can tell in the first 10-15 minutes the way our game's going to go. That's one thing I think this week. The coaching staff, the team talks, other analysation of all the games, etc., other tactical work. I think that has to be, it really has to be driven home how important this game is, because for me it's a must to get to this break, guys, ahead of them, in my opinion. I think it sets us up great for after the break, and Gerrard can get them back onto the training ground, guys like John Lundstrom, and really work hard with them, getting them back into the form where they should be. Rudy?
I think come Sunday, I think it's really important that we get that win, just for confidence sake. And it's like you just said there, Mark, we haven't started the season well. It's been a lot of subpar performances and players out of form. The team collectively has been out of form at times as well, for most of the games actually. But this is a perfect game to go out there. You've got 90 minutes, you just go at them for 90 minutes, you put your best players on the park, I don't know who's available, but whoever it is, you put them on the park, you don't dilly-dally on the ball, you make passes count. Some of the passing recently has been pretty pathetic at times. They've got to get back to the slick passing that we know they're capable of, and they've got to attack. They've got to attack with pace, tempo, and attacking intent, and really put them under pressure. Nobody has done that yet. We have to do it on Sunday, and I don't doubt if our players get back to the form that we know they're capable of, we could take the 3 points on Sunday, whether it's a 1-0, a 2-1, a 4-2, whatever it happens to be. I don't care how we do it, just as long as we do it, Mark. You know what I mean? As I say, they should go out there and for that 90 minutes, just leave everything on that park for 90 minutes. They'll have the backing of 50,000 bears, leave everything they've got on the park for 90 minutes, and then they get their wee break come the international break.
Brilliant.
Bridgeman?
I agree with Rudy there. It's we've got to do everything and leave it all out in the park. Whatever it is, just leave it out in the park. Got to do it. And you know, Rudy was right again. Everybody said it. A victory on Sunday would be absolutely fabulous for the Rangers. Absolutely fabulous for everything about us. Because they've started, over there, they've started the wee Snidey stuff. And I've no doubt they've got Sutton and Hartson and all the rest of the Rangers haters lined up. And we're starting to wind up over the weekend. The papers will be full of it. We're going to beat them, blah, blah, blah. Well, we need to win. If we win, we'll shut them all up. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Alec Kelly?
I'm looking forward to it, mate. I don't have any fears. I think we're just more disciplined than them. We hold our shape. They don't. And that's where I think they'll come unstuck. We put them under pressure. We start with the high tempo and we keep it up because the 50,000 Rangers supporters inside Ibrox will make sure that we keep it up. But try not to go on the players' backs too early though. Stay with them, support them, let them fill the jerseys, let them sense the atmosphere and let them get at them. If we score an early goal, I'm very confident. I think we could take 3 or 4 off them, but it's how we defend and how McGregor saves us at the back. If they get their opportunities, I think that's where McGregor comes into his own. But I really do 100% believe we can punish them when we go forward. So I'm looking forward to it. We've got the battle fever on. Bring it on.
Right, I'm going to go around the panel. I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I'm going to ask you for your predictions of your scores. I'll start with yourself, Rudy.
I'm going for a 3-1 mark. Obviously, famous.
Yep, Bridgeman.
1-0 for me.
George, EK.
2-1.
Alec Kelly.
I'm going for a 4-2 victory for Rangers.
And the Thunder from the Under.
Oh, you should know that's Saturday day predictions.
Oh, right.
You've let yourself down there. Alex wouldn't have made that mistake.
No,
Alex
come on. You can give me one.
No, I didn't do it, man.
You can break your duck.
Quack. Just one thing, Alex. Are you on the Division 2 radio tonight?
Yes, we're on the Conference League shortly. Yes, Ibrox Radio. But make sure to tune in.
Like if you can manage to maybe hook up 2 lines somewhat, I might be a phone in.
Fastest finger first, big man. Give us a goal.
Fastest finger first. Is that a game show you're on?
Yes. Higher or lower?
Higher or lower?
Right, guys.
Look, we win the game. That's as simple as that. We win the game. However that's done, we win the game.
I'm going to go with a 2-0. Just another wee reminder to the listeners, there'll be no show. Obviously, Sunday we'll be back on Monday as usual. Obviously discussing the game.
You can get Alex to do the show.
By the way,
he's too dear.
Ibrox Radio's on Sunday night.
Oi.
But it's like going for BBC One to Radio 5 or something. He's doing a wonderful show. Any media like that is great for Rangers. It really is. Really is great.
Right, guys. I'm just like to thank all you for calling in. Rudy, Bridgeman, Big Al, Kenny, Alec Kelly, George EK. Anybody I've missed, I apologise. It's been a great night. Thanks very much for your calls, guys. Thanks to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and obviously the Rangers Radio lobby. Will we shout out, Rudy, please?
Aye. It's going to be great if we get that 3 points, regardless, no matter how we do it. If it's a 1-0 win, if it's a Bridgeman, or whether it's, as Alex said, a 4-2, which would be a pretty exciting game to watch, I'll take either way, either score, I don't care how we get the 3 points, Mark. But thanks to all the callers tonight, brilliant calls and questions and points and all that. And thanks to you, Mark, for having me on the show, you mate. Thanks.
And it's over to you, Bridgeman.
What can I say? Brilliant night, Port Bear. Well done, Rudy. And to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, 2 sleeps I've got. 2 sleeps, and then we're into them. So everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, particularly this weekend. Get tore into them. Keep it going.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear, of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair Toyce came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster men who wore the shirt of blue, Bertie Manderton, Sam English, Laurie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoyce came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, there's no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.